inaccurate weather forecasting isn't always a bad thing. Case in point today, it said it was going to rain all day and maybe let up a little bit around 9 o'clock tonight. And rain a little bit tomorrow and then be nice after that. But lo and behold, it's been beautiful. Well, I don't know about beautiful, but compared to raining, yeah, it's been great. Anyway, we had one hell of a night last night. You can see Chi-Chi, our dinghy over here. I woke until about 12:30 or 1 in the morning. I kept getting up because I kept having the sensation that we were falling back onto the key. Thought it was Quay, then I thought it was K, and now apparently it's Key. So I'm trying to do better, guys. So we didn't want to fall back to the Key. And I'd come up here in the pouring rain last night, and the angle of my chain was getting more and more steep like that. And I knew that I would have liked to put my anchor way over there. So I was really freaked out. Then the wind blew, and it blew us back this way, so it wasn't an issue. I fell asleep. I got up this morning and found us just resting on our fender. So luckily we put a fender back there. We would have been fiberglass to cement. So we got lucky there. But also with the wind, I was right up against these people. And these people are, I believe, 7 of them on a 43-foot Dufour, and I think it's a charter boat, and they're from France and Britain. They're wonderful over here. Anyway, I was up against them. In the night, worried that was going to happen, I had put out 2 fenders. I'm using a fender right now because another boat that we just walked up the quay, and somebody's out to dinner, and their boat was banging up into the quay as well. So I used one of my fenders I'm not using to drop in there to help them out. They don't even know it. Anyway, so this morning in the pouring rain, the Irish lads could not come in last night. They were going to get in around 9 o'clock at night, and it was raining so much they couldn't even see to get to the anchorage, let alone see to get in here. And they made a good call. And there was a million boats anchored out in front of over here where you come into the marina. So they made a wise decision and anchored up with everyone over there. I say a wise decision in that they avoided a calamity, but in doing so, they had a very bumpy night and started dragging all over the place. And as they were doing that, they went and I guess they set an anchor alarm, because you remember they had broken their mooring and went onto the rocks a while ago. So now they're setting an anchor alarm all the time. Their anchor alarm went off, and Bob looked out and he said, "You know what? We're the same distance from that boat right next to us." So he reset the anchor alarm, figured it was just a glitch. And a little while later, it went off again, saying that it had been another 300 meters down, or I don't know. Oh, it had moved quite a bit. So he looked out, and they're still the same distance away from the other boat. But then they looked, and they were really close to the boats that were in back of them. What happened was the 2 boats together were dragging in tandem. So they went to go and haul up the anchor in the pouring rain in the middle of the night, and their engine was coughing out, so they actually had to set sail in all of this just to get away from everything. And then they dropped their anchor. And this morning they got up early and came in, and in the pouring rain, I was talking to them, and they're like, "Hey, is there still room at the marina? We want to come over." I said, yeah, I'll go check. So I came up here, and that's when I noticed that we were up against this boat over here, laying on our fenders. And I had the dinghy over here at the time too. So it wasn't like it was fiberglass to fiberglass, but it wasn't good. So I got Chrysalida up, and she came up, and what I did was I started the engine. I'm pretty proud of myself because I've never done this before, but I thought about it, and I was thinking about it last night. If something went wrong, what would I do? I started the engine, locked the wheel hard over to starboard because I was blowing down to port, and I put the engine at about, 1,200 RPM. So, and there was enough wind that was still holding me over here, but it wanted to come to starboard all the time. And I locked it like that, and I got in the dinghy, and I went and I while the dinghy was running, I grabbed the anchor chain and followed it out. When I started lifting it up, and when I got it off the bottom, I had Crysalida start paying out anchor, paying out chain, and I just started reversing all the way over there and dropped, and I got as far as I could. It wasn't pulling it anymore because it wasn't pulling it on the bottom anymore. So I said a prayer and dropped it over, came over, she pulled in, and as soon as she started lifting up, it pulled it right off here, got it fetched over here real tight, and now we're looking really good. In fact, I have it a little loose just so that we can get on and off the boat. But I was pretty proud of myself. And then what happened after that? It's pouring rain, and so I called the Irish lads and said, "Look, I'm in my dinghy. Do you need help?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I was able to play tugboat again and came over, and we put them over here, next boat over from us. And it was kind of funny because they were over there, and then just now, two other boats came in on either side of them. So much that they were like squeezed over. Well, anyway, we all thought it was going to rain, so we started watching a movie on Paquita. And while we were doing that, apparently the harbor master, the marina master, whoever it was, came over. She could see these are how I have the two balls here, and this one was hitting the concrete. I put this line over here so I could just pull it by hand to stretch the chain out so I get over there, and so we can step off. So what we're doing is lifting the chain up by doing all this. So hopefully I can do this with one hand. I'm still not as close as I'd like to be. I'm not as young or as good looking as I'd like to be either, but I wonder why my back is all messed up. Okay, hang on. I think we got it moving now. Sometimes you just got to put a little bit of power and you just got to hold it for a while. There it is. It's coming now. Come on, baby. Hopefully I can do this without losing the camera overboard. I'm trying to show you this. Yeah, you know what? I think I have to put the camera down to do this. So bear with me. All right, let me pull on this. Pull, 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 pull. Hang on, guys. I'll straighten the camera out in just a second. All right, now we're getting somewhere. So if the wind wasn't blowing, I could be right up against here and it wouldn't be a big deal. But because the wind is blowing, I've got the anchor tight so that it pulls over that way and keeps us off. And that's why I put this line so I can pull back and forth. But here is our neighbors over here.
Hi.
The British and the French, right? Yeah, right, all right. And something really fun happened yesterday. I got a text from somebody saying that, hey, my friends are right next door to you. Go over and say hi to Kate. So that was wonderful. But anyway, cheers. So here's a walk away over here. How you doing? And the lads are off. I would imagine they're drinking now. Oh, no, they're all talking. They found there's two boats here from Ireland. Well, two boats from Ireland, 3 Irish cruisers here. So in other words, this boat is full of a bunch of dudes from Ireland that are chartering. Here's Walkaway, and they put a boat here and a boat here. Oh no, this boat here and another boat over here and squished them over until they got kicked out. So the Irish lads were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to. We didn't mind them there." But I guess the harbor master didn't like that. But anyway, you can see the rest of the boats are here. It's got all filled in. Things are much better. Before, seas were really rolling in here. Like I say, the weather was supposed to blow 30, and hopefully it doesn't blow 30, gusting to 40 tonight, like it's been saying it was supposed to do all day. But these boats on the end, if it gets nasty, it's going to be a tough night for them, but hopefully it hasn't. But as Bob and Crysalida and I were walking down the dock, we came over here, and this boat over here, which I think is a charter boat, because I see the flag up there, I think somebody's chartering this. But they were going up. They have 2 little fenders over here, but they were still going fiberglass to concrete. So Bob and I Bob grabbed his fender over there, and I grabbed my fender, and we put them over here. So we just hope we get our fenders back, and hopefully these people will be happy. Bob said, "Do you think we should tighten up on the bow line, their anchor?" And I'm like, "Nope, I don't think we should do any of that." But anyway, here's Owen's brother. He's going to be with us until I think tomorrow. And they found some Irish lads, Irish people to hang out with. So they're all talking over there. And they're getting good information because this guy has lived, he's Irish, but I think he's been living over here for a long time. And the Irish lads are looking for a place they can haul their boat for till the next season. And he's helping them with a place where they can do it and they can afford to do it and that sort of stuff. So hopefully that will work out well. But anyway, a very, I know that you guys would love to see when the rain is pouring and the wind is blowing and the boats are crashing into each other and the anchor is slipping and all that. And I'm not a YouTube guy, so what I have to take care of my boat. I have to take care of Paquita and Crisalida and myself. Once we get all sorted, everything's all right, then we have to do our thing. And I have another story for you too. But the saga is not over. In fact, this saga continues. So, if you notice, I don't know if you can see that. Let me put the camera over here so I can make sure that you can see it. You see these two flags up there? There's a yellow. I'm still under quarantine because I'm officially not checked in. And I was saying how Greek bureaucracy has been easy. No, it was at the marina. But as far as the government, and so one of you guys wrote this in the comments, that was definitely the case, that the government is something that you have to watch out for here as far as bureaucracies go. Well, apparently, to give you the short thing, after we walked all the way to the other marina, to the Port Authority, went to Customs House, and the Customs sent us over to the Port Authority, and we went there, we have to get a transit log, but before we get the transit log, they wanted our paperwork, and when he looked at my insurance, he goes, "This is in English." I'm like, "Yeah, we're an American boat." He goes, "No, you have to have your insurance policy in Greek." And I'm like, "Well, can I Google translate it for you?" He goes, "Nope, this Greek law says it has to be in Greek, and that's all there is to it. Or you can buy insurance from one of these people." So I wonder if that was one of his brothers or uncles. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, who knows? Anyway, so unfortunately, I couldn't call my insurance company because, first of all, I can't talk to my insurance company anyway because I have a broker. So the broker I have to call my broker, and then my broker has to call the insurance company. And I'm quite certain they're going to tell me, "No, we don't do that for anybody." Because, you'd have to do that for every language in the world. So I don't know how they're going to resolve this other than me buying Greek insurance. So that's going to be an issue. How you doing? And yeah, we'll see how that's all going to play out. And in the meantime, I couldn't do this right away because there's a 7-hour time difference. So it wasn't until 5 o'clock in the afternoon here that I could even I could have sent an email earlier, but I was looking at the phone number and I said, "You know what, let's start with an email and see what happens." So that way that they can see what happens. So anyway, wish me luck. Hopefully I can get checked in tomorrow and hopefully everything will be fine. But until then, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Do all that YouTube stuff. You know what to do. And thank you so much for hitting the super thanks button. You guys continue to do well. Donald Flynn, thank you. The boys and I say Salancha to you. Thank you. And special shout out to all the patrons out there. You guys take care, be safe, and as always, I'll see you on the one.